Have you or someone you love been told that stage 4 or 5 chronic kidney disease is irreversible? What if I told you that just 2 teaspoons a day could change everything? Let's talk about something crucial for anyone dealing with kidney disease. You might hear that infections, sugar, or the disease itself are the biggest threats. While none of these are entirely wrong, the truth is a bit more surprising. The number one risk factor for people with chronic kidney disease, CKD, isn't what you might think, it's your diet. More specifically, it's the amount of acid your diet produces. I've found that diet is the most significant factor you can change to improve kidney disease outcomes. There are specific dietary changes that can make a huge difference. Seriously, I've seen it happen. Many of my patients have seen dramatic improvements in their kidney health just by reducing their acid intake. One of our community members, Anthony, shared his story. He was able to reverse his stage 4 kidney disease to stage 3A. How? By using alkaline agents like baking soda. Yes, you read that right, such improvements are possible, even in advanced stages of CKD. Before, I was drowning in despair. Diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease, my life felt like it was slipping away. The doctors offered little hope, but I refused to give up. I started researching and stumbled upon the potential of baking soda. Desperate, I began taking small doses daily, cautiously monitoring my progress. Slowly, my condition improved. Regular checkups showed a miraculous shift. My disease regressed to stage 3A. The doctors were surprised, but for me, it was a victory of hope and perseverance. After, life felt possible again, and I vowed to never stop fighting for my health. First off, congratulations, Anthony, on your progress. One key reason for his improvement is the use of baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate. Excess acid from our diet is a major enemy of kidney health, but it can be managed with sodium bicarbonate. This isn't just anecdotal, there's solid scientific evidence backing it up. A recent study found that sodium bicarbonate is even more effective than previously thought, helping CKD patients reduce the risk of rising creatinine levels by 2/3. In this video, I'll dive deeper into the questions surrounding acid load, diet, sodium bicarbonate, and more. Is your diet creating too much acid for your kidneys to handle? It's an important question, and one we really need to dig into. The tricky part is that when it comes to kidney disease, we can't just rely on how we feel to know if our diet is causing too much acid. Unlike something like heartburn, metabolic acidosis, too much acid in the blood doesn't show symptoms right away. When symptoms do appear, they're severe, like vomiting, confusion, diarrhea, and deep, rapid breathing known as Kussmaul breathing. By that point, it's an emergency. But don't worry, there are ways to determine if your diet is too acid-forming long before it reaches that stage. The first thing you should do is get a CO2 test to check your serum bicarbonate levels. This test is part of an electrolyte or basic metabolic panel, and it's something you need to know by heart. Seriously, keep an eye on your bicarbonate levels. They're a key indicator of your diet, supplementation, and overall kidney health. It's crucial to make sure your bicarbonate level never drops below 23 milliequivalents per liter. If it does, it's time to make some dietary changes and consider supplementing with sodium bicarbonate. I'm emphasizing this because, unfortunately, many kidney patients aren't being tested for this vital marker. Some doctors still focus only on managing symptoms until dialysis is inevitable, but if your goal is to avoid dialysis, you need to stay on top of your CO2 and bicarbonate levels. And there's more to know. There have been some recent changes in how sodium bicarbonate should be taken, which I'll cover in the rest of this video. Before we dive into that, I want to address a crucial question many of you have been asking in the comments. Is sodium bicarbonate safe, or does it contain too much sodium? This is a common concern, especially if you have CKD and need to watch your sodium intake closely. Yes, sodium bicarbonate does contain sodium, and it's true that excess sodium can lead to water retention and high blood pressure. But here's the important thing. While too much dietary salt can indeed be harmful, sodium bicarbonate is different when taken at the correct dose. In fact, if you need it, sodium bicarbonate can actually help lower your blood pressure. A recent study found that patients with metabolic acidosis who took sodium bicarbonate were able to reduce their blood pressure. It's pretty amazing, right? So, if you're finding this information helpful, please consider liking this video and sharing it with a friend who might benefit. However, even though sodium bicarbonate can lower blood pressure, it still contains sodium. This means if you don't have metabolic acidosis, you should avoid adding this supplement to your diet. You don't want to introduce unnecessary sodium. Remember what I mentioned earlier about your serum bicarbonate level? Only take sodium bicarbonate if your serum bicarbonate level is below 23 milliequivalents per liter. Otherwise, it's best not to add any extra sodium to your diet. So, what if you need an alternative? Let's explore that next. Are there alternatives to sodium bicarbonate that don't contain sodium? Absolutely. One of the best alternatives is magnesium oxide, which is often overlooked when it comes to kidney health. Surprisingly, even many doctors and nephrologists aren't fully aware of its benefits, and some CKD patients are hesitant to try it. But let me tell you, magnesium can be incredibly beneficial for your kidneys. Magnesium is alkalizing, meaning it helps balance acid levels in your body much like sodium bicarbonate, but without the sodium. It also binds to phosphorus, helping to remove one of the most harmful toxins for kidneys. Plus, magnesium can reduce inflammation, improve sleep, and is crucial because magnesium deficiency is common in CKD patients. This deficiency is linked to serious issues like high blood pressure and insulin resistance. If that weren't enough, research has even linked low magnesium levels to a higher risk of death. So, whether you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or just want to protect your kidneys from metabolic acidosis, supplementing with magnesium is a wise choice. However, there's a lot of misinformation about magnesium supplements. If you're using an expensive form like magnesium orotate and not seeing results, it might be time to get informed. One of the most effective ways to manage body acidity and reduce your need for sodium bicarbonate is through diet, which we'll dive into next. What are the biggest sources of acid in the diet? When it comes to managing acid load, the main culprits are meat, fish, dairy, and other animal-based protein sources. Even milk, which some people use to soothe heartburn, actually becomes acid-forming once it's metabolized by the kidneys. The reason these animal-based foods are so acidic is due to sulfur-containing amino acids like methionine and cysteine. When these amino acids break down, they form sulfate, which then turns into sulfuric acid, a very strong acid that the body has to neutralize. To handle this acid, your body uses bicarbonate, which your kidneys help to reabsorb and balance out. But when your diet produces more acid than your kidneys can manage, your serum bicarbonate levels drop, which isn't good news for your kidney health. So, what does this mean for your diet? Simply put, there are certain foods you should avoid and others you should eat more often. For example, meat is one of the worst offenders, followed closely by fish and dairy. On the other hand, grains are more neutral in terms of acidity. But the real heroes in your diet are alkaline-forming foods, which can actually help reduce the acid load on your kidneys. In summary, if you're dealing with CKD, it's essential to be mindful of the foods you eat. Some can really burden your kidneys, while others can help lighten the load. What are the foods that actually help remove acid? If you want to protect your kidneys from harmful acid, loading up on fruits and vegetables is key. When you look at the acid-alkaline chart, you'll notice that fruits and veggies are on the right side, meaning they help protect your kidneys by reducing acid. Among them, leafy greens are at the top of the list. Take cabbage, for example. It's a superalkaline vegetable with a PRAL, potential renal acid load, score of -5.6, which is excellent. Cabbage, whether green or purple, can be eaten raw or cooked, and it's packed with nutrients that CKD patients often lack. The PRAL score, by the way, is a way to measure how much acid a food either adds to or removes from your body. The lower the score, the better. Another great option is bell peppers. When eaten raw, they have a PRAL score of -3.5. They're low in calories but high in vitamin C, vitamin B6, folic acid, and other antioxidants, making them a fantastic addition to any healthy diet. Green leafy vegetables are also a must. They consistently rank at the top of the PRAL charts. For instance, arugula has an impressive PRAL score of -7.5. Arugula, a relative of broccoli, kale, and cabbage, shares many of their health benefits. Plus, it's rich in nitrates, which, like beets, help improve blood flow and fight hypertension. Other greens you should consider adding to your diet include lettuce, kale, celery, parsley, and mustard greens. Kale has a great PRAL score too, but spinach might be the best of all, with a PRAL score of -14.0. So, if you want to keep your kidneys in top shape, make sure to fill your plate with plenty of vegetables, especially leafy greens. Should people with diabetes be concerned about acid intake? Absolutely. Many people with diabetes worry that if they cut back on meat and eat more vegetables, their kidneys might suffer. But the truth is quite the opposite. CKD patients with diabetes are actually at a higher risk for metabolic acidosis than others. Here's why. While all CKD patients struggle with excess acid because their kidneys can't remove it effectively, those with diabetes face an additional challenge. Diabetes itself leads to the production of more acid in the body. This happens when the body starts using fats for energy, which leads to the creation of ketone bodies, similar to what happens in a keto diet. However, what's often not mentioned is that ketones are acids. Producing some ketones is normal, but people with diabetes can sometimes produce too much, especially if they don't have enough insulin or aren't consuming enough carbohydrates. So, what should you do? First, if you need insulin, make sure you're taking it as prescribed. Second, avoid high protein and high fat diets. They aren't safe for those with kidney disease. Balancing your diet carefully is key to protecting both your kidneys and your overall health. Now, let's talk about some recent updates on sodium bicarbonate administration. In a study we discussed earlier, many patients managed to protect their kidneys simply by taking sodium bicarbonate. However, the method used in the study was more precise than what most people do. Typically, kidney disease patients take 1 gram of sodium bicarbonate 1 to 3 times a day with water, away from meals. While this might work for some, especially if their serum bicarbonate level isn't too low, there's a potentially better approach. In the study, They started by checking the patient's CO2 level and used a specific equation to calculate the exact amount of sodium bicarbonate needed daily to quickly reach the ideal range of 24 to 28 milliequivalents per liter. For instance, if a patient had a bicarbonate level of 21, they would be given 4,410 milligrams of sodium bicarbonate per day, gradually increasing the dose by 25% each week and retesting until the correct level was reached. Now, I understand that not everyone can get tested so frequently, but I strongly recommend getting this test at least every few months. It's crucial to maintain the right bicarbonate level for your kidney health. If you're in stages 3 to 5 of kidney disease and not taking sodium bicarbonate, talk to your doctor about whether it might be right for you. Remember, your kidneys are worth fighting for, and small changes can make a big difference. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more tips on managing kidney health. And don't forget to check out the description for resources and links to more in-depth information. Take charge of your health today.